happily inviting to the floor the research on assessment of distance learning modes for tertiary education in Pakistan. Jalil, you are welcome to share your screen.
Yes.
Okay, sure.
So everybody can see my presentation?
Yes, we can. You can switch to the full presentation mode if it's comfortable for you, or you can stay in the slide presentation mode, whichever is more comfortable for you. Okay, go on. Thank you. No. You switched off your screen. You can please turn it back on. Okay, great. Please proceed.
So now it's a full presentation mode.
Perfect.
Yeah. So thank you very much for giving me such opportunity to present my work, indeed present our work. So thank you for the organizing this 16th multiple conference on computer science and information society. So the topic of my research, is assessment of distance learning modes for tertiary education in Pakistan. With me, my co-authors are Dr. Tahira, Dr. Sana, Hira Raza, and Saima. So my work will be flow like problem statement, introduction to the topic, motivation behind this work, and the objectives, literature review, methodology, results, then recommendations. So basically, I'll be talking in the problem statement. I'll be talking what is the need behind this work, why we are choosing this particular topic. So as you know, the increasing role of online learning due to COVID-19, most of the software houses and edtech companies are trying their best to come up with various solutions in order to impart an uninterrupted education. So the digital learning tools are in high demand. This is one of the reasons, and the other is that we observe that critical situation due to the digital divide. Most of the students don't have the adequate internet connections or access to the devices or good hands-on on the softwares like Teams and Zoom. So consequently, they are unable to access the quality education. This is basically the problem statement. So the topic basically I'll introduce. Basically, in this study we will discuss the modes of distance learning, which is broadcast media technologies. It's one-to-many, and communicative media technologies, which we call the many-to-many. So in addition to this, the study shades on the synchronous and asynchronous modes of communication. Then in future, I'll talk about the blend of these asynchronous and synchronous learning. Further study evaluates the effectiveness of Digiskills mode. Digiskill is basically the Ministry of IT's initiative in Pakistan. So they provide the skills, and they have one web portal server, and they maintain their offline and online courses where teacher can offline and online can access the student. And if a students have any query, they write their questions, and after watching the video, and whenever the facilitator get the time, he or she responds. So in future I would be going to the Digiskills model. And furthermore, for the affordability and acquaintance with the tools and software, this research conducts a survey with help of Google Forms in order to access the availability of internet connectivity, availability of devices for distance learning amongst learners. And finally, we have proposed a hybrid solution of distance learning for tertiary education in Pakistan. Motivation behind this research is to address the gaps in tertiary education and distance learning modes in Pakistan. And the proposed solution can cater to the needs of learners in context of access to internet and digital devices. Research will also help the higher education vertical in adopting the right instructional technologies, keeping in view the current distance learning practice due to the COVID-19. The objectives of this research are very clear: to analyze the two modes of distance learning, that is synchronous and asynchronous modes of learning, and evaluate the effectiveness of Digiskills mode of communication, its deployment in tertiary education, how we can deploy this model in tertiary education in Pakistan, to assess the availability of digital tools like internet devices. Electricity problems are there. So if there is no electricity, how the device can be connected with each other. So to propose a hybrid model for learning in tertiary education in Pakistan. And I've mentioned here some of the literatures from my research work, and the titles are mentioned here, like role of broadcast media for instructional delivery in open and distance learning. It's a case study. It's a wonderful case study on Nigeria. So they basically adopted the new concepts of open and distance ODL concepts, and it's synchronous with the ICT tools, and they've basically mainly focused on the broadcast media like radio, to impart as many learners as they can. And the other research that literature review that I mentioned is the shift from classrooms to distance learning, advantages and limitations. What are their advantages? How flexible it is to go for this shifting from face-to-face to in-person or to distance. This is another research literature review that I mentioned here, that a code of ethics in teaching through interactive videos. How these types of video will impact on the growth and mental growth of an academic achievement. So this study also shared about the mental statement of the students or learners who go through a different code of ethics, and it is implemented on the basis of latest HTML web-based infrastructure video containers. Methodology: the population of this study comprises of undergraduate universities in Pakistan. We have got the data from two different universities in different provinces in Pakistan. One is in Sindh province, other one is in the KP Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province. And one is very highly advanced university with smart classrooms and high flex models, and others a very traditional university with a simple blackboard and no computers or anything else. So the data has been collected from two different public sector universities. The one is the Sheikh Ayaz University, Shikarpur, Sindh, and the other one is Pak Ashtiya Fakhak Shule, Institute of Applied Sciences and Technology, Mang, Haripur, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Pakistan. And the proposed sample size is 750 students. Both of the proposed universities are located in rural areas of two provinces. The aim behind selecting these two is to examine ground realities of the education institutions situated in the far-flung areas and urban centers. So in this methodology, the questionnaires that I have already mentioned, we have around 10 to 12 questions that we ask from these university students, like, do you have access to any of these devices, which I'll show you in the graphs? Do you have reliable access to internet? Do you face the internet connectivity issues? Do you face the internet power issues, load shedding, electricity? Do you have any software understanding of any software? Like, have you ever used the Zoom? Have you ever used the Skype before? So have you ever checked your email frequently? So these questions we will combine and got some interesting data that I'm going to share you. So a close-ended questionnaires survey was conducted through Google Forms. Data interpretation and analysis were carried out through Excel sheet and SPSS, and the data was tested through SPS correlation test for statistical analysis. The results from this survey show the differences and similarities between two different universities. One is equipped with the latest instructional technologies, smart classrooms, and high flex models they are following. The other one is a traditional classroom without any instructional technologies. The result from both universities shows that the students were not ready and satisfied with the complete transition from face-to-face towards the online classes. Means they were not accepting the complete transition, because students even the teachers are not used to. They feel very habitant. They feel very insecure while they play with the technology. Yeah. So the reason for the dissatisfaction found through the survey was electricity power outages, internet connectivity issues, access to internet, and so forth. These are some graphs that I have just mentioned here. There are basically 10 to 20 graphs. So this is how we asked the questions and got the interesting data. Like, do you have the, would you like to be comfortable with the online classes, or do you have any of these softwares like Skype, Zoom, and Teams? So this is how, according to data, we recommend some interesting facts that considering the results gathered from the survey, this research proposed aggregation of broadcast and communicative modes for online distance learning. Will be the ideal for a current situation, because we have to go with a blend between asynchronous and synchronous. We cannot directly jump towards online, 100% online, that everyone has to be present and you are supposed to present your supposed to share your information online. So we have to give them flexibility, some room that they can, because at one province, at one side there's a load shedding issue, the other is working very fine. So whenever then the load shedding is overcome, then the electricity is available, student, he or she can access the data or can get the lectures. So it must be noted that most of the public sector universities are not at part equipped with expensive hardware solutions, which requires big chunk of money and trained human resources. The researchers proposed Digiskill model for teaching, because this model has already been deployed for teaching the vocational courses. So we propose the same model for our higher education system as well, tertiary education in Pakistan. So the proposed method is suitable for tertiary education in Pakistan because it provides solutions that addresses the common challenges. For example, the hybrid model can give liberties to students and teachers to access education according to their ease. And there are some limitations. The student only the study only looks to two universities as well, because we have around 184 universities in Pakistan. Universities in Pakistan in future studies could extend this sample. Moreover, the current trend practice in the distance learning in Pakistan universities could also be explored. So thank you very much. This is about the brief work regarding our side.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for presenting your study. The national studies on digitization and its effect are always fascinating, because they always provide an extra dimension and the opportunity to contrast different countries and to see what the issues are and how they are relevant to how they're applicable, what is generic and what is different across different countries.
Yes.
And this is truly fascinating. I have a very brief question, if you will.
Yeah.
When assessing the digital availability dimension, the digital competence dimension, apart from the access to technology, are there any deeper rooted digital competence issues, like let's say the students or staff, they are unable to use more advanced digital tools, or they are unwilling to use anything beyond, I don't know, email, because that was the issue that we came across, or they don't want to learn, or they don't feel comfortable with the technology, so that their performance drops because they are uncertain how to use the tool. Maybe these kind of things, not only because accessibility is the major issue.
Yeah, the data we got from two different universities, it was because both universities are of different nature. One is the Fachhochschule University, focused on the technical and vocational with higher technology. The other one is a traditional university. But data is interestingly the same, because before COVID, teacher as well as learners as well as facilitators, they were not ready to use the technology. They were not habitual to check the emails frequently. So when they
that's the problem. That's a
Yes.
general problem. Like, check your notifications if you want to be up to speed with what's going on with your education. Check your notifications.
Okay.
That's a common problem. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing your experience. I very much hope that you would be able to expand the sample for Pakistan. Please feel free, some of my PhD students are for Pakistan. If there is a need to access other universities, I would be happy to help out.
Thank you very much.
Dear colleagues, and we are